There is an underreported crisis in America. The nation's life expectancy has fallen 2 years in a row, a decline not seen in 100 years. Researchers point to deaths of despair, lives lost from drug overdoses, alcoholism, and suicide, sparked in part by faltering economic security and the downslide of traditional support systems. It's a grim picture, and statistics alone can't tell the story. So we investigated the reality outside the D.C. Beltway in the island of Manhattan, speaking with people caught in the clutches of despair, a word that means the complete absence of hope. Over these next 4 weeks in June on Fox Report Sunday, I'll introduce you to fellow Americans who know despair and refuse to give up.
They'd write you the prescription, you pay the $100 cash, and you leave.
Alan is 57 years old. He spent more than 25 years as a Houston police officer, nearly 10 of those addicted to opiates. He says a trip to the dentist's office set the stage for his addiction.
I had some pretty extensive dental work done to my teeth, and the doctor prescribed me Vicodin for the pain. I've been looking for a cure for a hangover my whole life, and I took 2 of those little Vicodin, and within 10 minutes my hangover was over. And oh my God, I've discovered something.
He lied to his dentist to get refills.
I actually had 2 root canals for no reason. There was nothing wrong with my teeth, but I would fake toothaches to keep him going. Some of the guys at work noticed that I was slurring my words, and I told them I was taking pain medication for my dental work.
His addiction took a more destructive turn.
And I run into a cousin of mine who introduced me to a more powerful pain pill called Lorcets, and also Somas. I'll never forget what he told me when I left his house that night. He says, "Hey, Alan, welcome to the dark side."
Before long, he went back to his cousin.
I'm asking my cousin, where do you get these things? And he said, well, you got to go to these pill mill doctors.
Pill mills are places where licensed physicians sell prescription drugs under the table for profit.
That's what we called them here in Houston, pill mills. Matter of fact, they were so prevalent that a combination of 3 drugs, Xanax, hydrocodone, and Soma, was actually dubbed the Houston cocktail.
Dr. Mike Leith is the medical director at Memorial Hermann Prevention and Recovery Center in Houston, Texas. Alan was one of his patients. He says while prescription pill abuse persists, heroin use is on the rise due to its relative affordability.
Heroin got easier to acquire here in Texas. And then the problem became, then the heroin started getting tainted with a drug called fentanyl. Not only have we seen an uptick in heroin use, we've seen a marked uptick in deaths due to the tainted heroin.
It's hard to find someone untouched by the epidemic, but some have been harder hit than others.
And it seems that without question we're seeing far more white males than any other part of the sector of the population that are using.
115 people a day are dying of opioid overdoses. That's more people than are killed in car wrecks.
Countering the pill mill crisis is Harris County, Texas Attorney Vince Ryan, who has filed suit against drug companies, pharmacists, and doctors.
They have prescribed hundreds, if not thousands, of opioid prescriptions, most of the time without even seeing the proposed patients.
Attorney Ryan hopes to help people recover and regain their lives, much like Alan, who, now sober for 5.5 years, sought and found redemption.
I felt ousted from the brotherhood of the police department because there was drugs involved, and I've been to jail and all that.
Alan says his addiction isolated him from his colleagues until a fellow police officer passed away.
So at 2 years sober, I got invited to a funeral of a friend of mine that I worked with for a long time. And after the funeral was over, I was outside, and I heard the honor guard yell out an order, all officers, attention. I got to stand with those guys, shoulder to shoulder. Thank God that I got pulled out of the depths of this deal. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody. Promise you. The end.
Yeah. Well, the opioid crisis has hit every one of our 50 states, but few have felt the burden more than New Hampshire. Next week, we'll take you there for an incredible tale of loss and recovery and the ongoing search for hope.